The president was also asked about what is happening in his old home city of New York.
Your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation.
Certainly a strong statement from the president. But Sarah, tell me, how much power do the Democrats' radical wing hold at the moment? We've seen a number of elder statesmen and women, including Bill Clinton, congratulating this radical Marxist. They're not repelled by him. A lot of them are inspired.
Yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen whether or not this man can actually win in New York City. I got to tell you, by the way, if he does win this, if he does pull it off, New York City will be irrevocably changed. It will be irrevocably, pained from all of these policies that he decides to implement. He is a full-blown communist. The interesting thing about the New York City primary in the Democrat Party is that when you look at the data of the people who were actually going in and voting for this man, the man who claims that he's about the working class and he's all about equity and he wants to make things fair, you would think that he would appeal to the working class people. Well, largely the working class people here in New York City rejected this man. And it was, of course, the liberal elites, the people who were making so much money that they didn't really care, that they think that they know better. And they want to dictate policy for these poor, oppressed, poor people that they know better for. And so that's who you saw voting for Mamdani. You didn't see the actual working class, who his policies would affect the most, vote for this man. So it's tough to say how much the radical wing, has really taken over the Democrat Party. But I think that if the last presidential election shows anything, I don't think that this man will be as successful as perhaps Bill and Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama want him to be. My hope is that New York City says, you know what, we may be Democrats, but we are not communists and we are rejecting this communist scum.
We'll be watching that race with bated breath. Before you go, I want to play you an exchange between Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth and Democrat Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs. It's about men identifying as women in the armed forces.
If it were, you would be keeping these women in. Instead, you are the one injecting culture wars into the military, and it's at the detriment of our military readiness and national security. Now, General Kane, I'd like to turn to you.
So to be clear, these are men who think they're women.
These are women. I'm happy to educate you on
but these are men,
on trans
and so
issues at another
what we've
time.
identified is that there's mental health issues with that belief system.
I'd like to turn to General
are
Kane
detrimental
now.
to readiness, and that's the determination that we've made and that we stand behind. Gender dysphoria.
And so,
Sarah, what's your response to those who, like Congresswoman Jacobs, argue that the military is now weakened by these soldiers being sidelined?
Well, what I would say to Congresswoman Jacobs is simply look at the statistics, look at the numbers. The military has had record numbers of people joining, in large part due to the adults being back in charge. I know as much as Brian Stelter, Mr. Potato Head himself, liked to say the adults are back in charge when Joe Biden came into office. Really, the adults are back in charge. And we all know biology. It's very, very simple. And by the way, if a man is confused about what sex or gender he is, he can't just look between his legs and understand what he is. We don't really need him serving in the military. It serves as a distraction. And so I would tell Congresswoman Jacobs, look at the recruiting numbers. They're through the roof because young men are excited about, not being told that they are toxic, about being told that they should be strong and they should be willing to fight. And we can have the greatest, strongest military in the entire world. No offense, Rita, of course, if we just pay attention to the right things. They are supposed to be deadly. They are supposed to be strong. We are not supposed to be worrying about coddling someone because they don't know what sex they are. And so, I mean, Congresswoman Jacobs, this used to be an elite, esteemed position to be in Congress. Now, apparently, anyone can join, and they don't even need to pay attention to numbers or statistics or figures or, hell, even basic biology, Rita.
Well, you've got justices on the Supreme Court who can't tell you what a woman is, so we shouldn't be surprised that we've got Congresswoman Jacobs there. And just on Pete Hegseth, I want to play you a statement he made, because I think the Trump administration understands better than most that names matter, language matters, and the left has always understood that. And here is Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth announcing that the United States Navy is renaming the US naval ship Harvey Milk to the Oscar V. Peterson.
We are taking the politics out of ship naming. We're not renaming the ship to anything political. This is not about political activists, unlike the previous administration. Instead, we're renaming the ship after a United States Navy Congressional Medal of Honor recipient, as it should be. People want to be proud of the ship they're sailing in. And so we're renaming it after a chief, a Navy chief.
Pete Hegseth goes on to describe the heroics of Oscar V. Peterson and why he's earned that honour. These things matter, Sarah. The Trump administration gets it, whether it's statues being torn down, army bases being renamed, or ships. It matters.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, history matters, right, Rita? I mean, you know, we look at all of the statues, you point out all of these statues that the left has torn down, quite literally torn down. And we look at how much they've changed, how much, I mean, they even eliminated Aunt Jemima, right? They have gone from celebrating really key figures in our history for what they were known for into just erasing our history. And what we know is that if we don't really embrace and learn history, we are, of course, bound to repeat it. So, of course, we should be embracing, United States naval service members instead of gay activists. I mean, of course, we should be recognizing the things that matter. And I really do commend Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, along with President Trump, for recognizing that. I mean, this is not the first thing that they have decided to rename, to take back from the left that has co-opted, of course, language and co-opted some of our bases, our army bases, our military bases, and these ships as well. And so the Trump administration has said, no more. We are going to honor these service members. We are not going to pretend like it is, it is wrong to be strong and be proud of our military. We are going to be proud of it, and we're not going to be ashamed of history anymore. And I think that it's a really, really important thing to recognize. And I think it's a really big win, not just for this administration, but for the entire country. It's about damn time that we start, embracing these things again, because I got to tell you, China is over there building machines. They're not afraid to embrace their military. And finally, we have an administration that is doing that. We've got record recruiting numbers. And I'm really, really excited about the future of the United States military under the direction of course, President Trump and Pete Hegseth.
Sarah Gonzalez, thank you so much for your time tonight.